Hello and welcome to Living is Giving. My name is Mark Curran and I'm really excited to share with you our upcoming event coming on May 29th with my good friend and partner in Toronto, Joanne Schroba. Joanne
Hi,
is,
how are you?
hi Joanne, it's always a pleasure to see you. Joanne is the founder and creator of Basket Brigade Canada, which is an organization that actually feeds families who need some help. And, this is a unique event because we are looking at the spirit of philanthropy and the importance of living is giving, of growth and contribution. So welcome, Joanne. It's always a pleasure to see you and to speak with our guest today.
Thanks, Mark. That's wonderful. So today we have Jacek Siwek, and he is a good friend of ours that we know really well from the Tony world. And let me tell you a little bit about Jacek. He's a keynote speaker. He's a coach, an author, and an entrepreneur. He was born in Poland, and at the time there was communism there in the country. And so he saw that collapse and he immigrated to Canada, and then he started a brand new life here. So Jacek, tell us about your life in Canada.
Well, thank you very much, Joanne. It's truly an honor to be here. I love Canada, to be honest. When I immigrated, it was kind of like a promised land. You know what I mean? I grew up in a small town, really struggled, to survive there. But when I saw Canada, I was like, whoa! Everybody must be super happy here because I saw like an amazing country, so I absolutely loved it. But the immigration process was really tough, right? So at the very beginning, the first years for every immigrant, it is a really huge challenge, right? Because you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, you don't know the value of things, you don't know where you're gonna live. Everything changes. All your friends or your family or your culture, surroundings, everything changes, right? And you have no choice but to adopt. So I did, obviously, right? I had to learn English and stumble through that process and gain new friends and change. Even the family changed and everything was really tough. But what I noticed is that process, right? The process of changing from one country to the other. I noticed it's very, very similar between people who live in poverty and people who are successful. The process is almost identical. And I wrote a book about it called Immigrate to Success. It's almost published. But before I published it, right, somebody asked me to put it all into literally like a pill, right? Like all the best insights, all the best knowledge, and just create one chapter. And with that one chapter, we can join you with other, successful people. And I did, and I published this book called Authorities. I published this book with Les Brown and John Gray and Raymond Aaron. And my first chapter over there is about immigrating to success. And I take the metaphor of how immigrating from one country to another is almost identical to immigrating from being poor into being successful. And I love that subject. I love helping people. I love how people actually understand this concept. Because when I just tell them about strategies, how to be successful, they have nothing to compare it to. So it's actually difficult. But if I talk to them about how one person immigrates from one place to another, they actually grasp that concept. And they're like, oh, if I know this, then I can copy the same thing, right? Copy success, right? So that's what I do, and I absolutely love it. I love helping people. I love transforming people. I love seeing how they grow, how they overcome their challenges, and how they're giving back. And this is what this whole group is all about giving back, about growing ourselves so we can do more. So that's what I love about it.
That's
Beautiful.
amazing. Thank you so much. So can you give us a little bit of a taste as to what you're going to talk about at our May 29th event?
Sure. I always love simplifying things. When I went to so many seminars and read so many books about success, I always find it actually quite complex. When I went to seminars about how to trade stock market or how to invest in real estate and all those things, how to run a business, I found that it was so complex that a lot of times I would leave and I'm like, okay, one day I'm going to sit down and figure this all out. And I would never do. So I realized that what truly makes a big difference is immersion. Immersion. Because when an immigrant goes from one country to another, he's immersed in everything, in that language, in that culture, and you make mistake after mistake after mistake, sometimes really funny mistakes, but you keep going. You have no choice, right? You have to adopt in a culture that you live in. So I realized, you know what? The immersion is extremely important. You have to surround yourself with people who will get you to the level that you want to see in your life. That is number one. And then in order to get there, I will talk about 3 things, 3 points. Number one, for everybody who wants to be successful, is motive. I call it 3 M's, motive. If you don't have strong enough motive, if you don't have the desire, the burning desire to get you where you want to be, you're going to give up. Because there will be things that you will not foresee in the future. There will be things that will slow your progress. There will be things that will happen out of your control. And most people give up. This is why 50% of people who start businesses give up on the first year. So it's really challenging. It's not an easy game to play. But if you have strong enough motive, if you have strong enough why, you will break through those limitations. So that's one, what I'm going to talk about. The second one is mindset. That's the second M. And mindset is extremely important because you might have this motive, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right belief system, if you don't have the right values, it's going to be a short game for you. You got to have the right mindset. You got to surround yourself with the right people that have the same mindset. And this is how you're going to have a chance of succeeding long term. And the third one, which is the least important, and most people take it as the most important, is the actual mechanics, the actual knowledge of where to invest, how to invest, how much, at what percent, to where to put the money, at what bucket, and so on and on. So those are the 3 things. But most people focus so much on the third one, and they don't focus on the motive, and they don't focus on the mindset, that it's very difficult for them, because when they screw up with the mechanics, they give up. So if you have the right motive, you have the right mindset, you have the right mechanics, you have the highest chances. There's no guarantees, but you have the highest chances of surviving. If you don't have those 3, you have a very high chances of not being successful. I'll leave it at that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, those 3 main pillars.
That's awesome. Well, Jacek, first, as a born and raised Canadian guy, I want to thank you for choosing Canada to immigrate to. I personally love our country, and, we are a multicultural nation. There's no question. And if there's one thing I always appreciate, I've lived in Canada all my life. I've never moved to another country or anything of that nature. And I loved the courage and the excitement and the passion when people immigrate to Canada or, wherever they go, because it takes courage to leave where you're comfortable. There's a lot of uncertainty that comes up. So, I'm sure there's a mindset there for immigrating too, I'm sure. But I just want to thank you for taking that courage and bringing yourself and the gifts that you bring to our nation so that, we can be an even better nation, because we're always growing and changing and adapting. And like I say, you talk about learning another language and immersion. I'm a French Canadian guy. I went to school, and, my French is poor because I never immersed myself in it. Right. It was so hard to learn how to speak, write, and do all those things all at the same time versus just going in and learning the language. So thank you for that. And I just want to honor and let you know that I really admire and appreciate the courage that takes for anyone. I know many of my good friends. I know people who have immigrated from Poland all over the world, and it's just always a pleasure. And they're always happy to be here too. So thank you for that. And I'm really looking forward to your talk. I'm sure we're like-minded. We come from the same community. And I love what you say about mindset and how important that is in everything that we do. Because as we all know, the science of success is pretty straightforward. We can go there. We can learn how to invest. We can learn how to do all those things. The recipe to grow things, lose weight, whatever it is, they're out there. There's so many books, it's not even funny. Yet how come not everybody's doing it, right?
That's right.
And so I look forward to what you have to share there. But if you're to give us one little nugget about mindset, what would you say is the most important Because I know when I talk about mindset, I have three different areas that I talk about, but there's one that I think is always really important for me, and that's a growth mindset. So I'm just kind of curious what's your take on for people to, really, focus on in a way of being so that they can achieve all that they desire.
Oh, very good that you touch on this point. I believe that everything that is in our life is controlled by that mindset of two things. One is our beliefs, the other one is our values. And we pick up our belief system from mostly our environment, from our peer group, from our parents, from our school teacher, from our religion, from our friends, whoever represented authority to us. This is one of the reasons why the book is called Authorities, because whoever we believe is an authority to us, we will accept, adopt, and accept their beliefs, right? We will see that as truth. So if we go to a dentist and the dentist says, well, you got a cavity, we don't sit down and try to argue with them because we know better, right? We view that person as an authority in that field, so we accept their beliefs. Unfortunately, most of us picked up other people's beliefs subconsciously. We didn't sit down and realize this really served me. And most people really have this wrong view about money. They think that maybe the people who are rich, they cannot be spiritual, for example, right? They see that conflict there. They're thinking that, oh, if you're wealthy, then most likely you're scamming the system. Maybe you're using, poor people to get rich, or they have those beliefs that really create this conflict because they inside maybe they want to be spiritual and they have this belief that, oh, if you are spiritual person, you cannot be wealthy. So that conflict inside of them, a lot of times it's subconscious, will cause them to sabotage their success. They go 2 steps forwards and 3 steps back, and a lot of times they're like, I don't know why I cannot get ahead. And it's all because of that mindset. They have certain beliefs that literally stop them from succeeding, or they have values that are in conflict or in the wrong order, right? And this is why I love Immersion, because when I coach people, I tell them the first lesson is 3 hours. and most coaches are like, we do half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm like, no, I believe in Immersion, and I believe we got to sit down and dig deep into your beliefs and values, and that's our starting point. Everything else will be easy after, but we got to dig it deep. Where did you get it from? Like whose beliefs are those? Why do you believe it? What are your values? What is first? What is second for you? If we don't crack that down, everything after is going to be a struggle. If we figure that stuff out at the beginning, those beliefs and values, everything after that is easy. So that's what I focus on the most.
Wow, thank you for that. I completely agree. Yeah, fantastic. I see you have a question, Joanne.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you. I love that. And I think the belief that we all have is to also give back. And you and I, met in the Tony world with Mark, and we're also helping with Basket Brigade, which you help locally here. How is that working for you?
I absolutely love it. To be honest with you, it was a piece of my life I think that it was missing, because I was very involved with the religion that I was in, and I kind of faded away from this idea, and then I was looking for a place where I could give more to people without taking anything back, not in the business manner of you give and I take, or exchange, but literally give it with zero expectation of any return, and just seeing people who need help and who can really benefit from other people's generosity and kindness. So to see the amount of people that donate, to see the amount of people who come and they give their time and effort, and sometimes it was like really cold in the winter, and then we're like struggling, but we're getting this stuff done, and then we're just going to certain neighborhoods, and then we're going almost door to door, with the food, and to see people's faces, to see, like the hugs they give us, and the tears in their eyes, that's priceless. You can't put a price on that. And I believe this is what life is all about. Like this is what you preach, right? that living is giving. When you realize that your life, your success, that what you've done makes an impact, makes a difference, transforms other people's lives, it gives you that fulfillment that nothing else can. So thank you, John, for having that opportunity to work together. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. That's why we say at Basket Brigade that we deliver love and happiness, because that's how we feel. We feel so happy, and we feel that love for everyone that we're caring for, and they feel the love back when they receive the food. So it's a lovely environment to create for people.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and I'd like to think, the origins of Basket Brigade, was from one family and one man specifically as a young boy receiving something, and his dad was even too proud to want to accept it. And what it really illustrates to me is, it's that ripple effect, how one good deed can make such a difference on a global level. What Tony has done, from that one act of kindness to what Joanne has done, to what you have done, to what we have all done. And we don't know the impact that this is going to have long term with all these families and all these people who receive it, and what they will do to pay that forward, right? And it's not that you're doing that for that reason. So how many people are going to be inspired and moved to want to make a difference and help other people when they then have the means? And, you can donate your time, for example. It doesn't always have to be money, right?
Absolutely. I think it's very important to donate your time. I think it's important to donate your finances as well, because it does make a difference. But when you actually give your time and you actually get involved, with yourself, then you get to see the impact. You get to meet people who are, just like you and Joanne and myself, people who want to give, not just in a business environment when we're thinking about how to exchange value. We're thinking about literally giving and not receiving anything back. And that's the most beautiful environment you can be in.
Yeah, it really is. I have to admit, I got a little hooked on TikTok recently, and there was a beautiful little video there where it was a gentleman was donating his time. He was helping out at this shelter for a couple of weeks, and he was a multimillionaire, and he was doing it because he gives back a lot, and he just loved what they were doing there so much, and he was giving his time because he loved what they were doing. That as he revealed himself to the woman who was doing all this work, her love and her passion to helping people, he made a very sizable contribution as well. But it's not like he just threw money at it and walked away. He immersed himself in there and really helped them. And it was really touching. And then when this woman realized who he was, and he wasn't in disguise or anything, there's a lot of people with a lot of money, people don't know who they are. And just the look on her face and to see, that joy and what they could do even more with that. It was just really touching to see that it wasn't just, some guy with a lot of money throwing money at a charity and not really being involved. So it was a moving little video.
Oh, absolutely. And it's beautiful to see how it even changes you as a person, because once you see the impact that you're making, then you're addicted to it. You want more, right? I think we all feel that kind of a need that our life matters and that we're making impact, that we're making a difference in somebody else's life. And when we see that happening, then we're like, I want more, I want to grow. And when we grow, we're happy. So it's a win for everybody. It's beautiful what Joanne created here. And she's just one piece of a puzzle out of the whole big mission that Tony created. So it's wonderful to see, for sure.
And we're using this opportunity to come from the heart. Our logo's a heart, the Basket Brigade logo's a heart, and this one has a hand on it too, which is great, right? So we're helping other people, and it's a different thing when Tony says, you're in your head, you're dead, and you've got to be in your heart to really come from a place of giving and not wanting to receive anything. You don't need to. You're fulfilled, like you said, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. When you're in your heart, you're smart, right? And this is something that I learned, in my younger days. I was driven by status, success, position, title, money, all of those things. And I was always learning and growing and doing things. But when I actually dove into the community that we are all from, something happened in a way that opened my heart in a way that had never been opened before. And it really changed my life. And then I realized it makes a big difference when you lead with your heart and not your head. And it's a distinction I kind of made. It's like we could have all the intellectual smarts, all the book smarts. We can have all of that in the world, you know. However, it's when we have heart smarts and we lead our head with our heart. For me, that to me is what real wisdom is, because it's heartfelt. It's backed by, you know, some fact and some science and, you know, something at least there. But when you give of your heart, and you don't even have to be educated in that sense to give back to people. We see it around the globe all over the place where so many people have so little, yet they're willing to give and share what they have with others just so that they can all survive. And we're pretty lucky here in the Western world, North America. You know, people think we might be so hard done by, but, you know, do you drive? Do you got a car? Do you have a cell phone and a computer? You know, we're pretty blessed. And it's something that I never want to take for granted, right? And that's why for me, it's always important to contribute, to inspire others, to grow, and really have fun doing it, which is part of what this event is about and these conversations are about as well. Because, you know, I always like to believe, you know, whoever said life is serious, right? Let's have fun. Let's be playful while we're making a difference.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great thought that leads me to think that we really want to create this event because we need something happy, positive, inspirational, and to really focus on a better future, right? Than all the things that are going on in the world right now. We need to change our focus, and that's why we're doing this event. So we're so glad that you're coming, and all of our other speakers talk about these kind of topics too. It's so interesting how they're going to all interweave together. So looking forward to that happening. And it'll be such an inspirational day for people that I think they really need now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think giving from your heart, when you know somebody gives from their heart, it can actually transform somebody else. And it transformed me. If we have enough time, I'll just want to share one quick story that literally transformed my life. Mm-hmm. It was, I traveled to India and Nepal. And I saw poverty over there I have not seen, not even during communism in Poland. I couldn't even believe to what extent the poverty really hits people over there. So when they see a tourist like myself, they see God coming. You know what I mean? Like they for them, that's like the major source of income, and everybody's like begging. Wherever you turn, they're asking you for food, for money, for anything you can give them, right? It's heartbreaking to see that there's so many children that are suffering like this. And after a while, you just become like, okay, just please leave me alone, you know, like you're hiding from them, right? And I just had enough, you know, and I'm traveling on this bus. And this boy sat right next to me, and I got really sick from their water, and I couldn't eat for like 3 days straight. I had major headache. I was really not well. So I'm sitting on this bus, not a comfortable ride in the mountains. I tell you this. And this kid is sitting next to me. The bus stops and people come to the bus and they're selling like vegetables and things. And his mother buys a corn, one corn. That's all what she was able to purchase. She broke the corn in half, gave half the corn to the child, and kept half the corn for herself. So I'm sitting there, and this boy is like grabbing my arm, and I'm like, oh, he wants money. Fine, right? I look, and he tried to share this corn with me.
No. And
I'm like, I'm such an beep. But with that gesture, with that kindness, he literally transformed me. I couldn't talk to him, you know, language barrier. But, you know, that little gesture that he wanted to, he saw that I was sick. He saw that I wasn't well, but I didn't eat all day. So he tried to share half the corn that he had himself with me, who's a tourist, who's in his mind is super rich. And I'm like, wow, how spoiled are we here? You know, we have so much to give, and we just take it for granted. We take for granted that we have clean water. We have to granted that we have electricity. We take for granted that we have cars and libraries and highways and cell phones and internet and all those things we take for granted because it's here. We don't realize how many people would love to have our problems, would wish to have our problems. I came back from that trip, and I kid you not, I got down on my knees and I kissed the ground. Just like John Paul II did every time he landed. I was like, I will never complain about my life again, ever. And if I ever do, somebody kick my butt and send me back to Nepal. Because, you know, the kindness of these people really moved me. He wasn't the only one. I got to know more and more people in Nepal. They are by far the most kind people I have ever seen in my life. Complete stranger, I was to them. They would invite me over, you know, call me and like come and they serve me food and they wanted to carry my backpack, and they never I thought they wanted money. They didn't want money. They just wanted to be with me. And I'm like, whoa, how different of the culture, how wonderful these people are. So to find people like you guys who just want to give out of the kindness of your heart in the environment where people are so business oriented and want something, they don't want to give something without expecting anything in return. It's priceless, and I think everybody should be involved in at least one activity that you just give and you want nothing in return.
Absolutely. Beautiful. What a great story. And yeah, I haven't traveled as extensively as you, and I've seen and experienced that, you know, especially in Mexico. I love Mexico, but the people there are so, they just want to help, and they're so friendly and happy to serve, right?
That's right.
So yeah, thank you for that. And thank you for just being part of our program, because, you know, Joanna and I were talking about, well, let's do something. And we were like, what do we do that's different, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to do something where it's not just an event where people are coming and having their talk and selling their program, and it's all just sales and hype and all of that. There's enough of that out there.
Yes.
And our goal is to create a platform that will live on, where we can inspire people. We want people to learn and grow. We don't ever want to take that away, because we believe the experts such as yourself and John Gray and Udo and all the future guests we're going to have great tools and things to share. And we also want to inspire people to contribute beyond themselves, because as we know, you know, the 6 human needs psychology, growth and contribution are the spice of life. And when you're always growing and learning and giving back beyond yourself, life changes, you know. And I experienced that firsthand in the 20 plus years I've been in this environment with you guys. And that's why we chose to do something, you know, a little bit different than what we're seeing out there. So thank you for being part of that.
Yeah, what's great is that there's no selling at our event. You know, it's such a great thing, because we've done so many events where all it's a big sales pitch. Right. And that's not us. Thank God. You know, we have our heart comes first and our compassion for people. And I think that's going to show. It already is, actually. I've been inviting some of our recipient families from Basket Brigade Canada to come join us for the free tickets. And it's so heartwarming, you know, like they're so grateful to be there. And we can't wait to share it with them. You know, I can't wait to see their faces and hear what they're going to think of the event. So it's a really great platform for that. So thanks for being a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. It's truly an honor.
Thank you. So we're going to be on May 29th. We're going to be on probably YouTube or Facebook somewhere on the internet. And we've got a Zoom set up for everybody as well, who's got the silver and gold tickets. And a portion of that will go to Basket Brigade Canada and to Operation Underground Railroad. They rescue children from human trafficking and all sorts of horrid things that they just do such a wonderful job all around the world. And we've got Pachamama as well. They help so many people, and it's going to be such an amazing day. So we're going to create a little bit of history, I think, you know, with this event. So very
absolutely
exciting. Yeah, and watch the link below there. We'll have the links below for the event, and you can sign up and register, and we look forward to changing the world.
Never dream small enough. Always dream big. I love
Right.
Always.
Big dreams make things happen, right?
it. That's right.
Well,
Beautiful.
that's great. Well, thank you so much. Want to see you on May 29th, everybody. And loved seeing you here today, Jacek. And Mark, thank you so much.
It's always a
Thank you.
pleasure, guys. Anytime we can connect and do our part to make a difference in the world, I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
Come in. Love it.
All right. Until next time, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Take care.